Hi everybody, it's me again. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tina. Hi. Yeah, we have a winner. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. We have a winner for the September giveaway, and she gave me her permission to use her name. The winner of September's giveaway is Sabrina. Congratulations, Sabrina. I will get your package mailed out. I know I told you I would mail it out on Monday, but Monday is Columbus Day, and the post office will be closed, so I will get it in the mail on Tuesday. And once I have it in the mail, I will email you again to give you the tracking information so that you can, keep an eye on it and you'll know exactly where it is and when you'll be expected to receive it. So, yeah, congratulations again, Sabrina. Congratulations. Woohoo! Well, it is Vlogoween, and to hold up with the whole Halloween thing that we got going on this month, I decided that I would tell you guys a story. Yeah, my dad told me this story. It's a true story, at least he claims it is. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but his sister verified the story. But his sister could have been behind it as well. But we'll just jump into the story. He was telling me back when he was a kid, his grandmother, my great-grandmother, owned, it was like a Victorian house. It was huge. And it was on a lake. And so, like, during the summers, him and his sister would go and stay with his grandmother on the lake. And it was a huge Victorian house. It had huge double doors leading into the house, and then it would enter in on a foyer. And then you would be in the foyer, and then right there would be this giant staircase leading upstairs. Now, the giant staircase would go about halfway up, and then there would be a landing, and on this landing was a door. But the door was always remained locked because his great-grandmother, or his grandmother, my great-grandmother, had lost the key to this door a very long time ago. Or maybe it was that she never had the key, I don't know. All I know is that he told me that the door always remained locked. Anyways, when him and his sister would stay there at his grandmother's house, the house was broken up to where you would enter the house and there was this foyer, and then it went off to both sides of this foyer to like two living rooms, and in each living room there was a couch, and on each couch my aunt would sleep on one couch and my dad would sleep on the other couch. And he was telling me that at nighttime while he was sleeping he would hear noises coming from this locked door on the staircase. And he would, approach his grandmother about it, and she's telling, oh, it's probably rats, it's probably bats, And, so he chalked it up to being bats or rats. And so as time went on, and he was staying there with his grandmother, and the noises continued inside this locked room that hadn't been opened in a very long time. He started hearing footsteps on the stairs. And, at first he didn't think nothing of it. He thought, his grandmother was coming downstairs. But the stairs, it'd be like somebody would be walking down the stairs to the half point in the stairs, and then they would stop. The person walking on the steps would stop on that middle part of the staircase where the door was. And so, this continued on for a few more nights. Somebody walking down the stairs, and the steps would stop. And so he approached his grandmother again. And she told him that he probably was dreaming. He was probably hearing things, And so, well, finally, the nights continued on. And he kept hearing somebody walking down the stairs. And then the steps would stop halfway down the steps. And so this time the next day, instead of approaching his grandmother about it, he talked to his sister to find out that his sister was hearing the exact same thing. And they were just, thinking the sister was older. So she was just, chalking it up to hearing things, chalking it up to being an old house. It was settling. And so she never approached the grandmother about it. So, but yeah, she heard the steps, she heard somebody coming down the stairs as well. And she heard it, they would stop halfway down. And so that night, they got on their couches to go to bed, and the grandmother went to bed. And again, they heard somebody walking down the stairs. And so, they both got it because they had an agreement. They were going to check it out this time. So they got up and they peeked around the corner, looking up the stairs, and they could see, like a shadow coming down the stairs, and they would stop at the door that was locked and then just disappear. The person just disappeared. And obviously that scared the heck out of them, and so they slept on the same couch that night. And the next morning, they went to their grandmother, and the grandmother, chalked it off. It's just, you kids your imaginations are going wild. You're imagining things. You're dreaming. Blah 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 blah. Well, again that night, this time they were on the same couch because they didn't dare break up into two separate couches. And they listened for the footsteps. And sure enough, the footsteps came down the stairs, stopped halfway, and then they didn't check this time. They knew what was going on. And so the next morning, they went to the grandmother again. Well, the grandmother got tired of the kids complaining about, this noise that they're hearing in the door. And so the grandmother called in a locksmith to unlock the door. And so the locksmith came, and the locksmith unlocked the door. And so they opened the door up, and, the kids were, not my mom, but my dad and his sister did not want to look in the room. But the grandmother was like, see, look, there's nothing in there. It was actually an old closet. It looked like a place where they would keep their brooms and there's, that kind of stuff, because there was some old brooms in there and stuff. Anyways, so my grandmother said, just look, there's nothing in there. There's nothing to be afraid of. So my dad and my aunt, they crept around and they looked inside this room. And there was some shelves inside this room. And on the shelf was an old-fashioned candlestick. And it had a candle on it. It was a pretty, it didn't have dust on it. It was sitting there, and you would think something that's been locked up in a closed room would be covered in dust. Well, this candlestick, and it was one of those old-fashioned ones where it was, it's round with a handle, and it had a candle on it, and you would carry it, and, for light at nighttime before electricity. Well, it was one of those old-fashioned types. Old-fashioned types of candlesticks with a candle in it, but it had no dust on it, and the candle was in brand new condition, but it had been used. So, and it was just sitting there on the shelf, and my dad saw it and my aunt saw it, and the thing is that when they saw this shadow walking down the stairs and stopping halfway and disappearing in front of this door, she was carrying one of those candlesticks with the ones that you carry around in the olden days. She was carrying one of those, and there happened to be one inside that closet. So, yeah, but my great-grandmother, my dad, and my aunt verified that this really happened. It was a true story, but they said that their grandmother still didn't believe them, and up until the day she died, she did not believe that her house was haunted by, a woman carrying a candle. But that's That's my ghost story for you all. Sippy, sippy, because my voice is going. Gotta stretch. Gotta stretch. Yeah, my mom bought me some cough drops, and I'm going to put one in my mouth and see if it helps my throat any. Because I wanted to tell you all a ghost story that my dad told me. Now, this one he claims is real, but I don't think it was. Anyways, yeah, that's helping a little bit. Yeah, we had my dad was saying that he lived in this house when he was a kid. And he had a ghost friend named Henry who lived up in the attic. So his friend, he says it was a friendly ghost. It wasn't his friend per se, but it was a friendly ghost that liked to fool around. And he was saying that Henry liked to run up and down the stairs, up in the attic, when my dad would be trying to sleep. Just to, spook him a little bit. And so my dad would go to the attic door, and he would knock on the door, and then Henry would knock back on the other side. And so my dad said this continued on for quite a while. As he was growing up, Henry would be living up in the attic, running up and down those stairs, knocking on the door. And so as my dad got older, he got more braver. And he heard Henry running up and down the stairs in the attic. And so he went upstairs to the attic. And, of course, he didn't see nothing up there. But he said he could hear something whispering in his ear. And it was just a voice saying, hello. Just saying, hello. And so my dad, he thought he was brave. He was like, no. So he ran back down the stairs and closed the attic door. And as he was walking away, he heard, knock, knock, knock. And I was like, nope. He's like, he was done with Henry after that. He didn't play with him anymore. But, yeah, I don't know if I believe that story. But he used to tell me a whole bunch of different stories about Henry, the friendly ghost that would live in his attic. And another one he told me about Henry is Henry, he would do the thing where he would run up and down the stairs and knocking on the door. But he said Henry came out one day and came to his room. And he decided that he wanted to play with my dad's toys. Now, my dad said that the toys he had like this old robot. And we're talking like an old-fashioned robot where you had to wind it up to get it to work. It wasn't like battery operated or anything. And this little, wind-up robot would be in his toy box with all his other toys. And he would go to school, he would come home, and this wind-up robot would be sitting on his floor. And my dad, my grandmother was a little on the strict side, and she liked that my dad would keep his room clean and take care of his toys. So my dad would get in trouble because he did not take care of his robot. And he tried telling his mom, I didn't do it, Henry did it. Of course, his mother would get mad because my dad would be lying. But, so, that continue on. He'd come home from school, and the robot would be out of the toy box on the floor, and he would get yelled at by his mom. And so he had to tell Henry to stop it. Because he's like, I'm getting in trouble, you need to stop it. And so Henry, according to my dad, Henry took the robot and put it down in the kitchen on the table, wound it up while his mother was doing dishes and he was not home. He took it, put it on the kitchen table, wound it up, and it scared the bejesus out of his mother. And after that, his mother believed in Henry, according to my dad. But these stories my dad would tell me about Henry, I don't I don't really believe them. My dad was a very good storyteller, and I wish I could remember half the stories he told me about Henry, but I do not, which is sad because there was a lot of them. He probably should have wrote children's books about, Henry the Friendly Ghost. But yeah, so again, but those are my ghost stories. I told you that the one that's well, there's both of them are supposed to be true. And well, the first one my aunt did, say that it was true. Collaborate, is that the word I'm looking for? Collaborate. She said that was true. That really did happen. But the Henry one, I don't know. I think he was just telling stories. Who knows? I wasn't there. But yeah, again, Sabrina, congratulations. And like I said, I will get your package. I have it right here on the table. Out to you on Tuesday, and I will email you the tracking number once it's in the mail. But yeah, so don't forget, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And here you're going to see my little picture, so click on it. Click on it if you haven't subscribed yet, because I post new videos every day. But until next time, bye!